When Emily first started climbing the corporate ladder, I was proud. She was sharp, ambitious, and passionate about her career. I used to tell everyone, that woman will run her own company someday. I meant it. We met in college, two dreamers who believed success and love could coexist. But as years went by, her meetings got longer, her phone became a constant companion, and her smile, that warm, grounding smile, started to feel rehearsed. One Thursday evening she texted me, "Don't wait up, it's just networking." Simple. Casual. But something in my gut twisted. Maybe it was because she had already used the same excuse twice that week. Or maybe because I remembered the last networking dinner. When she came home smelling of cologne I didn't wear. Still I brushed it off. You tell yourself that marriage is built on trust, right? That doubt is the enemy. So I convinced myself I was overthinking. I set her dinner aside, kept the lights dim, and told myself she'd be home soon. Midnight came. Then 1. Then 2. When she finally walked in, she avoided my eyes, muttered something about traffic, and slipped into the shower before I could even ask how her night went. But the moment that really broke the illusion came 2 nights later. I'd gone to pick her up from the office unannounced. A small surprise, I thought. I waited in the car, watching as the building emptied. Then I saw her. She wasn't alone. She was laughing, really laughing, that unguarded laugh I hadn't heard in months. The man beside her brushed a strand of hair from her face, and she didn't pull away. My heart dropped into my stomach. They didn't notice me. I watched as they walked together to the parking lot, stopped beside his car, and stood too close for networking. When he placed his hand on her waist, she didn't flinch. She smiled. That same smile she once saved only for me. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I drove home in silence, my hands gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. My mind replayed every late meeting, every new perfume, every distant kiss. Each one fell into place like puzzle pieces forming the truth I'd been too afraid to see. When Emily came home that night, she found me sitting in the dark. She froze at the doorway, clutching her purse, pretending not to sense the storm that had been quietly building. She tried to play it cool, setting her bag down gently, brushing her hair behind her ear. "You're still up?" she asked, her tone too light, too rehearsed. I didn't answer right away. I just looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time I saw the cracks behind the mask, the faint guilt in her eyes, the hesitation in her movements. My silence must have unnerved her because she started explaining before I even asked. "It ran late again. You know how these client dinners are," she said, forcing a small laugh. "Was it networking?" I asked slowly. "Or was it him?" Her face went pale. "What are you talking about?" I stood up, my voice steady. "I saw you, Emily. Outside the office. With him. You laughed. You let him touch you. You didn't even flinch." Her mouth opened, then closed. No denial, no convincing lie. Just stunned silence. I think that was the moment she realized it was over. Not because I caught her, but because I had stopped begging to believe her. She whispered something about how I misunderstood, how it wasn't what it looked like. But the tremor in her voice betrayed her. The truth had already escaped her eyes long before the words reached her lips. I just nodded and walked past her, my chest hollow, my thoughts sharp enough to cut. For days we lived like strangers in the same house. She tried to start conversations, trivial ones about groceries, bills, appointments, as if pretending nothing happened could erase what I'd seen. But her words just echoed in a void. The woman I loved had turned into someone else, and I couldn't recognize her anymore. One evening she broke the silence. "Mark, please. I made a mistake, okay? It didn't mean anything." I was confused. I looked at her and said softly, "No, Emily. You weren't confused. You were choosing. And now I'm doing the same." That night I packed a small bag. Not because I was running away, but because I refused to stay trapped in the ruins of what used to be love. When I closed the door behind me, there was no shouting, no tears. Just the quiet sound of finality. Driving away, I realized how long I'd been pretending. Pretending that distance could be repaired. Pretending that trust could survive on hope alone. But betrayal has a way of turning illusions into clarity. I had finally seen through my wife's lies, and for the first time in years, through my own denial too. The first few days after leaving felt strange, like walking through fog after years of breathing stale air. I rented a small apartment across town, bare walls and secondhand furniture, but it was quiet, peaceful. For the first time in a long while, I could hear my own thoughts without her voice weaving excuses through them. The silence hurt at first, but then it started to heal. It was honest. Emily texted a few times in the beginning, short, desperate messages that ranged from apologies to attempts at small talk. "Can we just talk?" she wrote once. I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. "We did. I just didn't listen back then." After that, she stopped trying. People say betrayal breaks you, but that's only half true. What it really does is strip you down until only the truth remains. My truth was this. I'd spent years being the steady one, the forgiving one, the man who believed patience could fix anything. But love without respect isn't kindness. It's self-erasure. Weeks turned into months. I focused on work, joined a gym, started running again. Things I hadn't done in years because I'd always been waiting for her. Waiting for dinners that never happened. Waiting for conversations that ended in silence. Waiting for the woman she used to be. But now I wasn't waiting for anyone. One morning I passed by the cafe where Emily and I used to go before she'd head to work. Through the window I saw her, sitting alone, stirring her coffee absent-mindedly. There was no one with her this time. No phone in hand, no laughter. Just her looking lost in thought. For a moment I felt that old ache again, but it passed like a shadow. I nodded to myself and walked away. I didn't need closure because I already had it. It came the night I walked out of that house, the night I stopped mistaking tolerance for strength. Sometimes the end isn't the explosion we imagine. It's the quiet realization that the person beside you has already left in spirit. That's what I learned. So when people ask if I'd ever forgive her, I say this. I don't need to. Forgiveness is for those still holding on, and I let go the night she texted, "Don't wait up." Because that's when I stopped waiting and started living again.